Georgia, the Peach State. Famous for sweet tea, good music, southern charm, and humidity strong enough to make your socks feel emotional. One moment you're driving past beautiful pine trees and historic neighborhoods, and the next moment you're in a gas station parking lot wondering why everyone is arguing about who makes the best lemon pepper wings. This state has range. You've got Atlanta, where everybody's chasing dreams or traffic, and then you've got small towns where time moves slow, job opportunities move slower, and the Wi-Fi is still trying to load from last Wednesday. Some spots are peaceful, scenic, and full of genuine hospitality. Others? Let's just say they have character, the type of character that makes you lock your car doors twice. But we're not here to talk about peaches, skylines, or weather mood swings. No. Today, we're looking at the towns where the crime stats get bold, the job markets get shy, and the overall vibe makes you say, maybe we'll just keep driving. So go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe, because today we're counting down the top 10 worst towns to live in Georgia right now. And trust me, some of these places will have you reconsidering your GPS, your moving plans, and maybe even your life choices. Number 10, Valdosta. Valdosta, the place where the weather is hot, the traffic is confused, and the mosquitoes are built like small helicopters. This town sits right near the Florida border, which already tells you everything you need to know. It's basically Georgia's waiting room for chaos. You ever drive through a place and just feel your car insurance premium rise? Yeah, welcome to Valdosta. Now, Valdosta looks charming in brochures. Palm trees, college town atmosphere, a football stadium that looks like it was built with SEC dreams. But once you stay longer than a weekend, reality hits. The humidity doesn't just touch you, it tackles you. Your clothes stick to you, your hair gives up, and even your thoughts start sweating. And then there's the crime situation. It isn't movie dangerous. It's your porch camera is overworked and needs emotional support dangerous. You got break-ins, occasional chaos, and just enough unpredictability to keep everyone's head on a swivel. And what makes it funnier is that the local attitude is it's not that bad. Meanwhile, the police scanner is reading like a bingo game gone wrong. The cost of living isn't terrible, but the job market? Let's just say if you're not working with a college, the hospital, or fast food, you might be working nowhere. Valdosta is one of those towns where people say, I'm thinking about leaving for 12 years straight. And we got to talk about the smell. Anyone who has lived near that paper mill knows exactly what I'm talking about. One minute you're minding your business, the next minute, boom, the air hits you like someone microwaved cabbage inside a wet sock. If you've ever wondered what sadness smells like, Valdosta will introduce you. Nightlife? Yeah. If Waffle House at 1 a.m. counts as nightlife, then sure. Your evening options are basically Walmart, maybe a bar where everybody already knows everybody, and try not to run into your coworker who swore they were staying home tonight. Valdosta is the kind of place where people say, it's quiet and peaceful. And that's true if you stay inside. Step out, and you'll quickly discover that peace is selective. So yeah, Valdosta isn't the worst place in the world, but it's definitely the kind of town where your phone's GPS will whisper, are you sure about this? Number 9, Sylvester. Welcome to Sylvester, the peanut capital of the world. And trust me, they take that title personally. There are peanuts on murals, peanut festivals, peanut statues, peanut references in store names. At some point, you start to wonder if the entire town is being sponsored by Planters. If you have a peanut allergy, yeah, don't even stop for gas. Your throat might close just driving through. Now, Sylvester is one of those small towns where everybody knows everybody, which sounds cute until you realize that means everybody also knows your business. You can't sneeze without 3 people asking if you're sick and 1 person telling the church to pray for you. Privacy here? No. Sylvester runs on gossip the way cars run on fuel. And let's talk about the pace of life. Slow. Not relaxing slow. I mean slow like the Wi-Fi is still buffering from 2014. Slow like if you blink, you might miss the only interesting thing happening this week, which is usually a tractor parade or somebody trying to argue that Dollar General counts as a community hub. Crime-wise, it's not the worst town in Georgia, but don't get too comfortable. You know a place is interesting when the police Facebook page updates more often than the city's official website. You might not see chaos daily, but every so often something happens that makes everyone go, yep, that sounds about right. The job market? Let's put it like this, if you're not working for the school, working at the peanut plant, or working at Walmart, then you're probably not working. The most competitive employment push here is deciding who gets to stand behind which register. And the nightlife? Come on. The nightlife here is front porch rocking chairs and trying to decide if you want to go to bed at 8:30 or get wild and stay up until 9:15. The most popping place after dark is probably a gas station parking lot where teenagers pretend they have something to do. But here's the thing. Sylvester isn't truly terrible. It's just limited. The kind of town where dreams don't go to die. They just take a really long nap. People say it has charm. And it does, but it's the kind of charm that makes you visit once, smile, and then say, yeah, this was nice. I'm going home now. Number 8, Albany. Yes, Albany, the city where the weather, crime, and economy all seem to be in a permanent competition to stress you out first. If Georgia had a most likely to make you reconsider your life choices award, Albany would be polishing it on the mantle right now. Albany should be great. It sits on the Flint River, has historical significance, culture, music roots, all that good stuff. But somewhere along the way, the city said, you know what? Let's make everything just slightly chaotic. The roads feel like they were paved by someone who was actively arguing on the phone. The street layout is confusing enough to make Google Maps sigh. And your GPS voice goes from confident to hopeless real fast. Turn right in. Actually, hold on, we're routing again. Now, let's talk about the crime. Albany's crime rate isn't just high. It's like the town is on a group project to keep the police busy 24/7. You don't even need to check the local news. Just walk outside and someone will catch you up. This is one of those cities where if you hear fireworks at night, you don't assume fireworks. You just pause, listen, then mind your business. The job market? Imagine musical chairs, except the chairs are minimum wage, and the music is someone coughing in a break room. A lot of companies came, tried, packed up, and left like they forgot something in the car and never returned. If you have dreams, Albany says, sure, chase them, just make sure they don't run out of gas on the way out of town. And I hope you like Dollar General, because Albany has about 97 of them. If you ever lose someone here, just check a Dollar General. You'll find them eventually. Walmart is the town's version of Times Square. Everything and everyone ends up there at least once a week. And yes, the parking lot has seen more drama than most reality TV shows. The entertainment scene? Well, there's a movie theater, and there are restaurants. But nightlife here looks like somebody's cousin's backyard barbecue, a gas station hangout, or sitting in your car, scrolling your phone in silence. Even the weather doesn't give you a break. It's either way too hot, aggressively humid, storming like the world is ending, or all three in the same afternoon. Albany keeps the atmosphere spicy, whether you ask for seasoning or not. But here's the thing. People here are resilient, friendly, proud. They'll tell you Albany has potential. And they're right. Potential is definitely there. Somewhere, probably hiding behind one of the abandoned shopping centers waiting for better days. Albany isn't hopeless. It's just tired. Real tired. The kind of tired where you're tired is tired. Number 7, Griffin. Griffin, Georgia. The town that always sounds like it should be majestic. Like there should be dragons, castles, maybe a wizard or two. But no. Griffin is more like if someone took the idea of a city, shook it like a soda bottle, and opened it before it settled. Everything here feels slightly chaotic and slightly unfinished, like a group project where half the team stopped showing up. Griffin is the kind of place where you can drive down the same street twice and see something completely different because the police activity changed that fast. It's one of those towns where you hear sirens so often that they kind of become part of the ambience. Background noise. A Griffin soundtrack. This is a place where folks still gather in parking lots for entertainment. The local Walmart parking lot? That's basically the town's social media. You will see family reunions happening at the cart return, couples arguing next to tire pumps, and somebody selling barbecue plates out the trunk like it's a drive-through restaurant. You want nightlife? Griffin's nightlife is you, your porch, and your neighbors yelling across the street about something that happened 3 Thanksgivings ago. The drama doesn't die, it just rotates. Now, the economy. Griffin has jobs, but you have to be quick. Jobs come and go like Wi-Fi signals in old houses. One month, there's a company hiring 200 people. Next month, the building is empty like they were never there. It's like job market hide and seek. And the heat? Griffin heat hits different. You walk outside and instantly feel like you're being slow roasted. You're not sweating, you're marinating. But the people? Funny, strong, and loyal. Griffin has personality. And that personality is a mix of sweet tea, stubborn pride, and a willingness to fight anybody who talks bad about Griffin, even though everyone from Griffin talks bad about Griffin. Griffin is wild, exhausting, familiar, and somehow still charming in a way you can't fully explain. Like that cousin who always has drama, but you still invite them to the cookout. Number 6, Woodbine. Now, Woodbine. This one is different. Woodbine is one of those places where time just slows down. A little too much. It's quiet in a way that makes you wonder if something is wrong. You ever drive through a town and think, do people actually live here? That's Woodbine. Woodbine has that blink and you'll miss it energy. Except if you blink, you'll also miss the only 2 stores in town. And one of them might be closed for lunch, which lasts whenever they feel like it. This is a small town in the most small town sense. Everybody knows everybody. And everybody knows not only your business, but your grandma's business, your cousin's business, your dog's medical history, and what happened to your uncle in 1997. Privacy in Woodbine is like Wi-Fi. Not very strong and definitely not reliable. Jobs? Most people here either commute miles away, work for the town, or are retired from working anywhere with stress. The excitement here is fishing, sitting on porches, and waving at cars that pass by, which is fine, except there are only like 7 cars a day. Crime isn't super high, because the criminals are bored too. Even the troublemakers clock out early. But the real challenge? Opportunity. There's not much to do, not many places to go, and not many ways to move up. If ambition were a gas tank, Woodbine is the red line. However, the peace is real. The stars come out at night. And the quiet can be nice if you're into that. But if you need something exciting, and by exciting I mean anything, you're driving at least 30 minutes. Minimum. So Woodbine isn't necessarily a danger zone. It's more like a no-signal zone. Calm, simple, slow, maybe too slow. We're officially halfway through the countdown. If you've made it this far, you're clearly serious about avoiding the wrong moving decisions, and I know you're already searching for apartments to rent far away from these towns. So do me a favor, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and tap the notification bell so you never miss one of these important breakdowns. Alright, let's get back into it with number 5. Number 5, Macon. Ah yes, Macon, the city where history, soul music, and questionable life choices come together like a potluck dish nobody asked for, but everybody pretends to enjoy. Macon should be one of the cultural jewels of Georgia. I mean, this is the hometown of legends like Otis Redding and Little Richard. The place has soul. It has flavor. It has personality. But then you realize the crime rate also has personality. And that personality is, I will take your car while you're still in it. Macon is one of those cities that looks great on paper. You see photos of the cherry blossoms, the historic homes, the music heritage, but the moment you actually step outside, you hear a mysterious popping sound and have to ask yourself, fireworks or should I walk faster? The roads in Macon deserve their own documentary. Potholes here aren't just potholes, they're landmarks. You don't avoid them with your car. You strategically navigate them like you're playing Minesweeper in real life. You'll see people driving like they're in a NASCAR simulator, weaving and dodging the asphalt craters. This city doesn't need speed bumps. The roads are speed bumps. Now let's talk food. The food in Macon? Amazing. Absolutely dangerous. Because getting to it might cost you your wallet, your patience, and possibly your side mirror. You'll find the best fried chicken of your life in a building that looks like it should have been condemned 3 mayors ago. That's Macon. Delicious flavor in deeply suspicious locations. And the heat? Oh, the heat in Macon is not regular heat. It's personal. It hugs you. It follows you. It stares at you. You walk outside, and suddenly you feel like you're being slow-baked in honey glaze. If you're not sweating in Macon, check yourself. You might be dehydrated or dead. Now, crime in Macon is, how do we put this, enthusiastic? You don't hear crime stats in Macon. You experience them. Police sirens are basically the city's theme song. If you stand still long enough, you'll hear at least 3 before you finish a sweet tea. Macon is one of the few places where folks will argue loudly in public and then end the fight by saying, "Anyway, see you at church Sunday." But despite everything, the people here, hilarious, resilient. They roast their own city harder than anyone else. Macon folks know exactly what kind of chaos they live in, and they have jokes ready for it. They'll complain about the city every day and still fight you if you try to say anything negative about it. Macon is beautiful, messy, loud, flavorful, and exhausting, like living in a blues song and a soap opera at the same time. Number 4, Columbus. Columbus is one of those cities that always gets mentioned when people talk about rough areas in Georgia. On paper, Columbus looks promising. It's the second largest city in the state. It sits right on the Chattahoochee River, and it's home to Fort Moore, one of the biggest military installations in the country. But once you start looking beyond the surface, a different picture shows up. One that includes high crime, struggling neighborhoods, and an economy that hasn't been able to keep up with the cost of living. One of the biggest issues in Columbus is violent crime. The city consistently ranks near the top in Georgia for shootings, assaults, and homicides. In some neighborhoods, gunshots are not unusual background noise. Police presence is there. But the issue is that many of these incidents happen in clusters of neglected areas where crime culture has been brewing for years. Residents often describe it as, you just stay in your part of town and don't cross into the wrong side after dark. And speaking of sides of town, the divide in Columbus is clear. On one end, you have revitalized areas around uptown with new apartments, riverwalk views, and tourist spots. But go a little further out, and you hit blocks of abandoned houses, boarded-up convenience stores, and streets that look like they've been left behind. Many people say Columbus feels like 2 different cities living side by side, one trying to grow, and one trapped in a cycle of poverty. The job market also plays a role in the situation. A lot of employment in Columbus is tied to the military base. If you're not connected to Fort Moore, your options drop quickly to warehouse work, fast food, or unstable service jobs. Wages often don't match the rising rent prices, and that economic pressure fuels some of the crime and frustration you see around the city. Schools in several districts are also below state standards, with issues ranging from underfunding to teacher turnover. Parents who can afford to often choose to live outside the city limits just to avoid the school system. Those who can't are stuck with limited options. Columbus isn't all bad. It has culture, history, outdoor activities, and some genuinely nice neighborhoods. But the reality is that the problems are big enough that they affect daily life for many people. The risks are real, especially if you don't already know the area or have someone to guide you. So while Columbus has potential and parts of it are improving, it's still one of the roughest cities to live in Georgia, especially if safety and stability are major priorities. If you're thinking of moving here, you need to research neighborhoods very carefully, because just a few blocks can make a big difference. Number 3, Jessup, Georgia. Jessup, a town that sounds like a polite greeting, but delivers more "why did I move here?" than welcome. It's the kind of place where the local motto might as well be, "We exist somehow." Driving through Jessup, you'll notice the streets are quiet, suspiciously quiet, and then you realize it's not peaceful. It's just everyone wisely avoiding leaving their homes. The town tries to be charming. Sure, there's a courthouse and a few shops sprinkled around like toppings on a sad pizza. But most weekends, the most exciting activity is watching tumbleweeds duel each other in the wind. Crime is present enough that you'll check your locks twice, but not overwhelming enough to require a hazmat suit. It's that awkward middle ground. Not dangerous enough to be thrilling, but not safe enough to feel relaxed. Employment? Jessup will make you question your career choices. Opportunities exist, but they're about as hidden as the Wi-Fi signal in your grandma's basement. People are nice, yes, but helpful usually means giving you directions that will somehow get you lost anyway. It's the town that teaches resilience. After all, surviving traffic lights that last 90 seconds and gas stations with only one pump builds character. The food scene is limited, but there's a comfort in that. You'll find the same diner, serving the same burger since 1985. Consistency is the main attraction here. If you're the type who enjoys learning patience, Jessup is basically a crash course. Patience with the weather, patience with the speed limit, patience with figuring out why your GPS suddenly says recalculating forever. And yet, Jessup has heart. There's community spirit, local events, and a quiet pride that the town exists at all. If you can embrace small-town chaos, occasional potholes that look deep enough to hide government secrets, and the occasional random parade, Jessup might just teach you a valuable life lesson. Sometimes, surviving is its own reward. Number 2, Cuthbert, Georgia. Cuthbert, a town whose name sounds like a magician's assistant, but whose reality is more like disappearing opportunities. The first thing you'll notice is how quiet it is. Not the peaceful country quiet, more like did everyone leave and forget to tell me, quiet. There's a stillness that forces you to appreciate the small details, like potholes that could double as swimming pools or streetlights that flicker like they're auditioning for a horror movie. The town's charm is subtle, maybe a bit too subtle. Streets are lined with older buildings that have seen better decades. Walking around, you might stumble into a diner, a hardware store, and maybe someone offering directions that unintentionally lead you in a 3-mile loop. Cuthbert has a way of keeping you humble. It doesn't overwhelm you with excitement, but it will definitely make you rethink life choices. Jobs here are sparse. If you're lucky enough to find one, consider yourself an honorary adventurer. Surviving Cuthbert's economy is a badge of honor. Locals are friendly, sure, but friendliness comes with the expectation that you'll never be in a hurry, and patience is more than a virtue here. It's a survival skill. Crime exists, but in a low-key way. You'll mostly worry about minor thefts and mischief rather than full-on chaos. It's the type of place where locking your doors feels like an optional suggestion, but maybe a very good suggestion. Evening life? Don't expect much. A Friday night means maybe a car driving by slowly, or the occasional group at the park tossing a football while reminiscing about the good old days. Cuthbert teaches you to slow down, whether you like it or not. With its quirks, and occasional town pride, moving here is like signing up for a life lesson in patience, humor, and survival. If life gave you a quiet, slightly confusing, and humorously challenging town, it would be called Cuthbert. Number 1, Tifton, Georgia. Tifton, the crown jewel of wait, people actually live here. If you think you've seen all of Georgia, Tifton politely reminds you that there's a whole level of small-town bewilderment you probably missed. The first thing you notice driving in is how flat everything is. Not just the landscape, the excitement, the job market, and occasionally even the enthusiasm. It's like someone pressed pause on life and forgot to hit play again. The town tries to be charming, really it does. There's history, there's a main street that's technically still Main, and yes, there are diners serving fried everything like the rest of America, but charm here is a tricky concept. One minute, you're thinking, oh, this is cute, and the next, you're dodging potholes deep enough to hide government secrets while questioning why your GPS suddenly says, recalculating forever. Tifton's economy will humble you. Jobs exist, but only if your definition of exist includes hidden behind a locked gate, disguised as something else, and maybe requiring a small treasure map. Locals are polite, friendly, and endlessly patient, mostly because patience is a necessary survival skill here. You'll quickly learn to embrace slow drives, slower internet, and the slowest versions of everything else in life. Crime is low-key but present, giving the town that awkward balance between safe enough to walk and don't test it, buddy. The nightlife is non-existent unless you count the occasional raccoon scuffle in the dumpster as entertainment. And the weather? It's either hot enough to make you question your deodorant or rainy enough that your car windows need a personal windshield wiper. There's no in-between. And yet, somehow, Tifton has a strange pull. It's the kind of town that teaches you resilience, patience, and humor all at once. Surviving Tifton is like surviving a training montage in a movie you didn't sign up for. confusing, occasionally painful, but ultimately unforgettable. Moving here isn't for the faint of heart, but if you're brave, slightly sarcastic, and have a love-hate relationship with life's little challenges, Tifton might just be your personal adventure. Hold up. You enjoyed the video, didn't you? Don't lie. If you did, you officially owe the Urban Lens a subscribe. It's the law now. Go ahead, click that icon on your screen right now before I call out your hometown next week. Don't test me. I will find it. And if you already subscribed, you're safe. You're family now. I'm the Urban Lens. Thanks for watching, and remember, if your town didn't make this list, just wait. It probably will.